what we do at Apple is we try to make tools for people in the end, and tools to enjoy entertainment, tools to communicate, tools to create.
I mean, I think it's interesting that Steve Jobs didn't let his own children use the iPad. That's telling to me.
No, what do you want?
iPad.
No iPad.
Mommy's phone.
No.
You know, a lot of companies have these marketing statements about how they want to improve our lives. But that there are these side effects in economic terms, we might call these externalities, of distraction, of, in some cases, addiction, of, even manipulation, kind of directing us toward where we don't want to go.
La misdirection, comme on dit en prestidigitation, a beaucoup d'importance. C'est le détournement d'attention, l'art d'obliger le spectateur à voir ailleurs au moment où se passe le truc.
Herbert Simon in the 1970s, he was a cyberneticist, he pointed out that when information becomes abundant, attention becomes the scarce resource. To the extent that the goal is to capture and exploit people's attention as much as possible, the user is the product, and most people don't realize this.
It's my ultimate dream to get into the Guinness Book of Records.
Especially given that, our digital technologies, our smartphones, it's the first thing we look at when we wake up, the last thing we look at when we go to sleep. If I get bored for a second to pull it out of my pocket, it's kind of turned our attentional world into this continued flow of like rewards. It keeps us in this continued state of impulsivity.
Come on!
And kind of emotional stimulation.
I almost broke my freaking record!
I think most people don't realize the scale of this global persuasion industry. It's like thousands of PhDs helping designers exploit these vulnerabilities as well as possible to hook us on their designs, to keep us coming back. Whether it's a Netflix auto-playing video that gets me to watch the next episode, or the kind of the infinite feed that's scrolling on Facebook or Twitter, which is the same psychological dynamic that slot machines used to induce compulsivity and even addiction.
Really?
The persuasive design itself is not the problem. It's the fact that it's being used in the service of something that doesn't serve our interests.
Raconte-moi une blague.
If my technologies don't know what I care about or what I want to do with myself, and they get me to check my phone 150 times a day, maybe, in the same way that a broken clock is right twice a day, it might help some of the time, but most of the time it's probably not going to be as aligned with my interests as you would expect technology to be, given that the goal of technology is to help people's lives. I think at the end of the day, all these questions of attention, distraction, persuasion, manipulation, like what they're ultimately about is the erosion and undermining of the human will.
Voilà. Et dormir profondément. Voilà. Et dormir profondément. Et sleep now.
I think it's an enormous political and moral problem, probably the biggest of our time, right? Because we can't fix climate change, we can't fix all these other problems unless we can give attention to what matters. Basically what all this means is that technology is the opposite of what it used to be. So like, if before technology was about breaking down barriers between us and other people, us and information, now if everything's coming at us so fast, technology is about how we put boundaries in place. Like Goethe said, who would be great must learn to limit himself. I think there's a lot of wisdom in that idea. So.
Appuyez sur la... Vous êtes trop pressé.
ความเร็ว